Welcome to Stretford, Paddock. I'm Ronaldo Brown, and this is news at Old Trafford. Different angle, different setting. Sun's in my eyes just a little bit, but hopefully it gives me a little bit of a glow. And as you saw last night, it was Champions League football, and it's Champions League football today, and it's been a little bit bittersweet. Obviously, looking at a bit of entertaining football last night and that, but it's just upsetting knowing that United are in it. And I think we're a little bit better than a couple of the teams that are, which is upsetting. But we've got a Europa League tie on Thursday to look forward to, which is tomorrow now. And we might have a few interesting debuts on the horizon for some young starlets at United. And that's the first story that I'm going to get into, actually, and that's surrounding Ahmed Diallo and Shoretire. This is with Rich Faye tweeting in terms of Ahmed Diallo and Shoretire, saying that Ahmed and Shola Shoretire have both been added to United squad for the UEFA Europa League knockout stages. Does that mean that necessarily in the squad for the next game? We'll have to wait and see, but I really hope so, because obviously it's a knockout stages now in Europa League football, and any competition that we're in, with the Premier League looking a little bit more doubtful, I think United have to look at it as a trophy that we can possibly win. And is it an opportunity, or is it a possibility that we can kind of get the youngsters' feet wet in such a intense level of competition in the knockout stages? I'm not quite sure, but Ahmed Diallo looks like a player with enough quality where he can add a little bit of a spark to what United need, and that's the way I see it. With the front three not completely firing at United at the moment, I don't think it's even in a situation where you look at it as if every forward is a shoo-in. And with the production that Ahmed Diallo has shown in the 23s, the acclaim that he's got, the talent he's got, and the potential, he's a player that I'm excited to see. Shoretire also getting a professional contract very recently and playing extremely well in the under 23s as well. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get an opportunity as well. And if they even get a bench appearance, and hopefully if we've got a comfortable lead, or the big guns or the first teamers make it a little bit more comfortable for us, then hopefully we can actually see him. But Ahmed Diallo, in terms of a debut in particular, is something that I know all our United fans desperately want to see. And with John Cooper also telling me and Jay on a Tier 1 podcast that February was meant to be the time that we are expected to see him. And you know that he's a little bit ITK, he's a correspondent for United, as we all know, for Sky Sports News. It's just a matter of when than if I'm honest. And hopefully Thursday is an opportunity for us to see that. I know Real Sociedad won't be a completely easy game. We're obviously in the knockout stage Europa League football now, and there's a really good sides in the competition, so sooner rather than later we'll get to see our man. But if it's not Thursday, hopefully we don't get too disheartened about it. Over the second bit of transfer news, well, the first one wasn't transfer news, but the second one is, and that is according to La Razón, or La Razón, whichever way you want to pronounce it, which is United are prepared to move in with a bid of £61 million or 70 million euros to sign a French central defender from Sevilla, Jules Kean, 22-year-old. He's got a lot of acclaim, and apparently he's linked with Real Madrid as well, which will always rise his price tag. I know that everyone sees that the defensive issues at United are quite clear. It's quite obvious that it's something that we need to address. United have conceded 32 goals in 24 league games this season. That is well over a goal a game, and as Gary Neville pointed out on the Monday Night Football, statistically only one title winner in the last 20 league seasons has averaged over a goal a game conceded. So defence wins championships, and that's in all levels of sport and in all levels of football. It doesn't change. And if you don't defend and you concede goals, then you aren't going to win games, you aren't going to win silverware. And that's something that we need to address. You don't have a solid centre-back in pairing, and all the successful United teams that we've ever had have had those. Lindelof and Maguire have always got a mistake in them. They've always got a goal to concede in them. And it's a bit of an issue, and in some ways they're a little bit too similar. I know that Harry Maguire is the captain. He's £80 million. He's probably not going to be movable. So that's the reason why whenever we're talking about centre-halves and talking about central defenders, it's always about who could partner Maguire rather than him actually being replaced. And with him obviously being a big physical presence and not being the quickest, Eric Bailly looks like someone that would always be the best kind of partner for him. But the fact that he can't stay fit and he's not reliable, and sometimes the best ability is availability, it's an issue. And it's definitely centre-back is definitely an area that United need to improve on and need to look at in the summer. And will he be a decent option? I'll have to wait and see. Obviously he's been quite a good player for Sevilla. They've had a good defensive record in La Liga. He's only 22 years old. I know he's only about 5'10" as well, so he's very different from Maguire. I guess he's the quick type, the more dynamic type. As I've been saying a long while on the news about Upamecano, but I think we might have dodged a bullet on him if you saw his performance last night. But in terms of getting a centre-back in and getting Koundé in, £61 million is a little bit steep. It's a very, very extortionate price tag for a centre-half, but as you can see, sometimes they can transform a team's... the way that a team's going in the direction they're going in. And if we are going to sign a centre-half, it wouldn't be too bad of an option, because obviously being a Liga proven, being Champions League proven, being on the verge of the French side, he's a talented player. But in terms of it actually being ideal, in terms of being legit, I'm not too sure. Obviously, we've been February and been quite a long way from the transfer window actually opening. We'll have to wait and see. But in terms of us improving our defence, it's something that we desperately need to do. And any centre-half option that we are going to be linked with, we need to be monitoring it very closely, because in order for us to be challenging in the future, it's something that we definitely need to address. And with the final story, I've got quite a quick one, and it's on the forward area. I know that United have been linked to the likes of Erling Haaland, and the fact that we've got a 34-year-old striker in Edison Cavani more as a stopgap situation than anything. And with Martial getting obviously a downtake in form, a striker and a number 9 is someone that we definitely need to look in the market for. I know Greenwood's just signed a new contract, and he could be our number 9 in the future, but it never hurts to have too much of a good thing. And in terms of a striker that we've been linked with has been Portuguese striker Andre Silva for Eintracht Frankfurt, who has scored 19 goals in 22 competitions this season, and he's a man that has a lot of pedigree. He broke onto the scene as a young player, and he never quite lived up to it. He's 25 now, and he seems to be turning things around. He's also got 5 assists in all competitions as well, and the reason that we are linked with him is because he actually won't end up being that expensive. He's got a good rapport apparently from the Portuguese side with Bruno Fernandes as well, so that could be a factor, and it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on, because in terms of getting on a forward in the summer, it's something that we need to address, with Edison Cavani being obviously at the end of his tenure in terms of his career, and he's someone that we need to replace, because he's been a good stopgap so far this season, but he's someone that we can't rely on to be there obviously in a long-term future. So a long-term striker or an option that we need to look for is something that we also need to look at and address. And I don't think Andre Silva will be too bad of an option. Obviously, this was reported by Fussball News. I'm not sure about how legit or how credible they actually are. But with it being Feb and not being too near to the transfer season, we'll have to wait and see. And on Stretford, Paddock will have it all for you right here. But hopefully we do get the job done on Thursday. We do get some interesting signings in, and we improve our squad for the future. Because I think, if anything, if we don't get what we want at the end of the season, we also can see that there's been a little bit of progression, but we need to progress even more. But as for the news at Old Trafford, that's been it from me, and I'll see you next time.